What is going on, homies? It's your boy Stumped back from the OPTC video, and in today's video we're taking the new KDAD, KinDad, A4, AK Samurais into the Garp Challenge Revolution Army 2, and I have two teams for you guys to take down this particular event and do a bit of a miniature showcase on this particular unit before I sort of dive into some actual showcase stuff. But when I first saw this particular legend and the ability of removing 10 turns of attack down in their captain ability, I immediately thought of Revolutionary Army 2, and I thought that the best place to take them would be in this particular piece of content. So in the first half of the video, you're going to see a double A4 video or KinDad video. And then in the second half, we're actually going to hybrid them up with Izo Kiku, and we're going to do some shenanigans with V1 Odin, as well as some of the other samurais that are part of the scabbards. But in the first part of the video, we do have Kinemon, Denjiro, Ashura Doji, and Dogstorm as our friend captain, as well as our leader. And if you guys haven't checked out the summons videos, summons kind of popped off, and we actually managed to rainbow out the special Sugo, which was kind of crazy. We had some crazy part 1 luck, and then we just needed one more copy, so we finished it off on part 2. So these, like, moving forward, all of these videos are going to have like rainbow and the final tap level 5. And that's where this unit is at their pinnacle. They have a very, very good final tap. They have a very, very good captain ability. They have a very, very good special ability. And they also revive a lot of characters. Namely, two characters in particular. One being Toki, and the other being, obviously, V1 Odin. They work very, very well with V1 Odin. Now, as a captain, they are a mono slasher captain. And honestly, I have found that to be their biggest downfall. The fact that they just boost slashes obviously hinders team building drastically. There's not a lot of flexibility when it comes to putting together a team. However, nowadays, just like we saw in the blitz farming event or the point farming event that is available right now, having a fully boosted team isn't really the be all or end all, really. Hybrid meta is obviously in full swing, and this particular character is no exception. They do work nicely when you sort of use them together, like double KDAD team, because you can get the ability to get the double minus 10% resistance. However, just like pretty much every legend that comes out nowadays, it's just much better to hybrid this character up with another very powerful legend. And the character that this particular legend hybrids up the best with is actually V1 Odin himself. So it's really, really nice to see that they're reviving a lot of these older legends, namely Super Sugo Fest. And I really like what they've done with this particular character. Being a special Sugo Fest character, you really don't need this character in your arsenal, especially if you have V1 Odin. But nevertheless, they are a very good unit, and having them in your box is definitely not going to be a hindrance or anything like that. But what I'm saying is if you skip this Sugo Fest, or if you've got that FOMO against it, don't sweat, because if you have Odin and you can find yourself a friend captain, KDAD, you're going to be absolutely hunky-dory and good to go. As a captain, they're a 5.25 times slasher captain when you have a matching orb, 5 times otherwise. They remove 10 turns of attack down in their kit, and that's why taking on Revolution Army 2 is so good, because there is literally 2 stages that have attack down, which is very, very annoying. They also will apply a minus 10% resistance to the enemy if you attack with them with a Wano orb. So if you attack with a Wano orb, they're going to apply the minus 10% resistance, and that way you can just get a lot more damage with your slashes. So very, very nice captain ability. Utility, they have 1.25 times HP as well. But like I said, the big downside I did find to team building was the fact that you sort of just restricted to slashes. In saying that though, they do increase slashes potential. They do bump slashes drastically up the list when it comes to talking about what is the best class in the game. Slashers have a lot of power. They have a lot of very, very good units, but they never really had like a very good leader, like a really strong leader that could sort of carry them through and sort of tie all the pieces together. Now, with this particular Kinemon, Denjiro, Ashura Doji, and Dogstorm unit, with V1 Odin, you basically have all of your damage with one unit. You have a lot of power, you have a very strong attack boost, you have a very good orb boost, you can get Wano orbs, it's great orb manipulation. With the release of stuff like Hiyori being great orb manipulator, as well as having good utility, you have some really, really good options with stuff like Wiping and Roger. You have great rare recruits and stuff like Iron, and slashes are kind of like drizzled in on every single batch. Whilst that particular character might not boost slashes per se, they just pop up pretty much everywhere you go. So as you guys will see here, we are using characters like Smoothie, a particular character that came out with V1 Big Mom, but she's a slasher. She doesn't stereotypically boost slashes, but she works very, very nicely. Stuff like Current Wanda, very, very good slasher unit. But the crux of this particular team is to talk about the revival of Toki. Toki activates Kinemon, Dendra, Ashura, and Dogstorm's superclass, and is a very powerful unit because they are a slasher as well. You can apply that Toki Toki ability, which will then just basically remove any debuff that will be inflicted on you, as well as getting a 3.5 times attack and orb boost. But the big unit that this character works amazingly with is V1 Odin. And we'll talk about why V1 Odin works so well with him in the second part of the video. But the beautiful thing about Toki is Toki can activate the superclass. Now, the superclass of the KDAD unit is very, very strong. It makes your top row and bottom row Wano slots, and then makes your middle row tandem orbs. Now, if you're hybriding that unit up with something like V1 Odin, those tandem orbs will actually be Wano orbs. So you got a full board of Wano orbs. You can also hybrid this unit up with Izo and Kiku and use their super type, which will then make your middle row Wano orbs. So it kind of like ties in the gaps of like making a full board of Wano orbs just literally with a superclass. Plus, being a superclass slasher unit means slashers are going to hit ridiculously hard. They have a lot of cooldowns with stuff like Carrot and Wanda. And the superclass of this particular unit is just going to maximize the damage output that slashers can get. Obviously, they do have Odin as another very good slasher superclass unit. But Odin, for me, just kind of felt wonky. Like, he didn't really satisfy what you needed to do when you were running this particular character, that particular character. His superclass was kind of whatever with the plus buff, and trying to get the team to work together just sort of was a bit, like I said, it was a bit wonky. Nevertheless, Odin is still very, very good. He's a color affinity booster, and he would work very, very well under this particular unit as well. However, then obviously you don't really have the option of running V1 Odin, right? And that's kind of what they're trying to make you do here. The downside to the superclass of this particular unit is that the superclass is very restrictive. Actually getting it off, you need any of the samurais, or you need Hiyori or Momo, or Odin himself. So it can be a little bit challenging to get, but obviously there are a lot of very good characters in the game that do have that name. There are a lot of free-to-play characters that you guys can use too. So that was the double AK4s team. Let's move on to the hybrid team now. Alright, so now we're hybriding up KDAD with Izo and Kiku. And the reason I'm bringing Izo Kiku and a friend A4s is because I'm actually utilizing the Denjiro support on V1 Odin. So that's the team. Those are the supports. Let's dive on in. Now, this particular team does operate a lot smoother, in my opinion. We are obviously using Whitebeard and Roger, which immediately makes this team infinitely better. Whitebeard and Roger on any team just makes the team so ridiculously powerful with their switch ability. Plus, Whitebeard and Roger are a slasher unit, which means that they are just going to be able to decimate so much because they're getting buffed under this. 2 leader skills, really. The hybrid of Izo Kiku as well as Kinemon, Dendro, Ashura, and Dogstorm is very, very powerful for Revolution Army 2 because not only do you remove attack down with the KDAD unit, but you're also removing the paralysis with Izo and Kiku. Izo and Kiku are the two of the characters that got left out of this particular legend. Obviously, the A4 scene is when they cut Kaido, and there's only 4 of the samurais that are actually doing it in the anime or the manga. So I do understand why, but it's really cool to see that you can actually hybrid these 2 units up and sort of make some really cool content, and will take down some content and make some really cool teams, utilizing a very centric or Wano-centric build. Rayleigh, he's kind of the odd one out here. I was trying to make Hiyori work for this team so badly that it wasn't even funny. But I was just 1 turn of blind removal short. So it was kind of a little bit annoying. But nevertheless, this particular team did it like a hot knife through butter. No issues whatsoever. But the big reason I wanted to showcase this team is to talk about the abilities of V1 Odin under or as a hybrid option with the new KDAD unit. Now, Odin is a 2.75 times orb boost for 2 turns for slashes as well as strength units. So very, very powerful special. However, Odin kind of fell off the cliff like very, very quickly. The release of his 6+ was great and did sort of revitalize the character a little bit, but it didn't really revitalize the character enough to even put him on a standpoint of what Roger ever was. And Roger came out alongside him. And the 6+ of Odin came out alongside Roger and Whitebeard. Now, Roger Whitebeard obviously overshadowed that because that unit is so crazy. However, Odin on release seemed so much more interesting than Roger did, but Roger just like blew everyone's expectations away, and Odin really never got off his feet. But with the 6+ and the release of this particular new legend, works really, really well because this particular Odin, V1 Odin 6+, is the actual scene where he cuts Kaido himself. And then this new legend is like the reenactment of that. So I love the tie-in of what they've done here. Because if you use Odin special first, before you use the AK4's special, you're not only going to get your attack boost that the A4s provide. They give a 3 times attack boost to slasher units. And they also give you a full board of orbs through block orbs. I'm pretty sure they also have some utility in there too. I'm pretty sure there's like damage reduction removal, if I remember correctly. I might be bugging on that one, so let me know in the comment section below. But the big thing is the damage. They give you a full body orbs through block orbs, and they give you an attack boost. Now, if you've used Odin's special before, their special, however, they're going to extend their attack boost. Instead of 2 turns, they're going to make it 3 turns. And they're also going to extend your orb boost, which means Odin's 2-turn orb boost is going to become 3 turns. Now, Odin also has the ability to make strength orbs into Wano slots, and because you make all your slots matching, any strength characters are going to get Wano orbs, which is very, very powerful. Not only that, but Kinemon, Dendro, Shoutout, and Dogstorm will also increase your attack and orb boost by 0.25, including their own, so that you have 3.25 times attack and a 3 times orb, as well as doing 1 million fixed damage through normal attacks only. So, very, very interesting how they added a little bit of a cherry on top to what this particular character does if you use Odin before utilizing their special. Now, I don't think they're kind of building the teams for us, which I do really, really like, because that pathway can be a little bit scary. I think that what they've done is they've just basically said, hey, like, if you don't summon this unit, don't stress. Just run Odin, and then you run this guy as a hybrid, and then you can still do some really cool things. Or, if you really want to do with your team building, you just bring Odin, and you can do something extra on top of what this character can already provide. So, I really like the path that they're going down. Like I said, it's completely revitalized Odin. It's really brought Toki back into the mix as well. And I love that as long as they keep it to a barrel of just making the character a little bit better, not making it the crux, and you need this character to make this particular character better. So, with a superclass, with a final tap, which we didn't really have time to touch on, that takes all of the damage from slashes and applies it as end of turn damage, just like the Straw Hats at level 5, as well as giving themselves a Wano Orb, being very, very powerful. They all have a very good special, they have a very good captain, they have a very good superclass, they have a great final tap. And because they have 4 characters in their name, being a Shoutout, Kinemon, Dendro, and Dogstorm, they have access to a plethora of very, very, very good supports. Dogstorm has a lot of very good Cat Viper supports, namely stuff like V2 Neko, also stuff like V1 Neko. You also have the treasure map characters in the Neko where you hit a perfect and you can remove Threshold, I'm pretty sure it is. You also have Izo Kiku, which can go on Kinemon. You have Onami that goes on Kinemon. You have you just have so many good units. Just so many good units that can go on this particular character. And Kawamatsu's, Raizo's, like, it's just, there's so many units, like, so many good supports for this particular character. As you guys saw there on the final stage, that's where we actually got access to the Odin special, as well as the Kinemon Dendro special, giving us the 3.25 times attack, the 3 times orb. We had color affinity with the support. We also had the million fixed damage, which went through normal attacks only. And bing, bang, boom, we can take out Revolution Army too. So I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, make sure to belt the like button for me. If you're new to the channel, you haven't done so already, hit that big red subscribe button as well. Most importantly, though, wherever you guys are in this beautiful world, please remember to enjoy the rest of your day. As always, homies, I thank you for watching, and I'll catch you all in the next one. Later!